Good afternoon and welcome to Injustice Investigations. I'm Al Scott, your host. As always, we thank you all for tuning in today. And as you know, we are keeping a close watch on Chicago with R.Kelly. Today we decided we would go back and look at the at R.Kelly's career, how it got started, and how we got to this day. So we are dealing with, we're only allotted 30 minutes, so it's not a whole lot we can cover in 30 minutes. So we do the best that we can. So we know he's been released, but something he did after he was released last night may land him back in jail. Again, he's been released, but something R. Kelly did may land him back in jail. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But first we'll go back and look at how his career got started. Before I forget, today we remember Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin was killed on this day back in 2012 when he was racially profiled in Stanford, Florida by George Zimmerman. Trayvon Martin was 17 years old. He was spending some time with his father because he had been getting in some trouble at school and in his home. So his mother, Sabrina, sent him to live with his father for a while. And he was coming from a convenience store when he was racially profiled by George Zimmerman. And that sent a nationwide outcry. George Zimmerman instantly became one of the most hated men in this country, and he still is today, if only by me. So today we remember Trayvon Martin. Bump and grind, ignition, forever, stepping in the name of love. You saved me, and one of my favorites, you made me love you. Self-proclaimed Pied Piper himself, R. Kelly. R. Kelly's name can be associated with Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Charlie Wilson. Anything R. Kelly touched would turn to gold. He was a 3-time Grammy Award winner. He's toured all over the world. One of the most successful R&B acts ever. But today, we know R. Kelly is now worth only $1 million, if that. R. Kelly first came on the scene in the late 1980s, and he debuted in 1992 with a group called Public Enemy. He soon left that group in 1993 to pursue a solo career that no one thought was going to be successful for him. Well, we know that turned out to be a lie. He became one of the highest paid entertainers in the industry and was producing hit after hit after hit. And he received 3 Grammy Awards for I Believe I Can Fly. I listened to R. Kelly the other day in a couple of interviews he did. And I think one of them he was being interviewed by Travis Smiley. I think that's who was interviewing him. And this was shortly after he had been acquitted back in, I think, 2008 on the 21 counts of child pornography charges. When he was asked why did he write certain songs during that time when his managers and agents told him not to, he said he wasn't going to be silent. He was going to continue to do what he do. And he did. And those tunes became a hit, like Ignition, one of those first songs I think to come out right after his, during his trial, he came out with Ignition, which became a bestseller for R. Kelly. R. Kelly troubles probably started in 1994, when back then he secretly married a young girl named Aaliyah, who was pursuing a career in the music industry, and she did. and she was successful as well. The two remained extremely close. They appeared on a couple of TV shows together, but would never publicly say that they were dating. All we knew is that rumors were they were dating, but neither would say they were dating. But we later found out that not only were they dating, they were secretly married in Chicago. When we first found out that the two was having sex, as if we didn't know it, was when they were on a tour bus, and he was in his bedroom, and the door was closed, and I guess they hit a bump, the door flew open, and Aaliyah and R.Kelly was in bed having sex. So then we knew that they were more than just friends or business associates. They secretly married. She was 15 years old. She lied on the marriage certificate and said that she was 18 years old. And I think R. Kelly back then was 27 years old at the time. Now, R. Kelly was sued. First suit, he was sued for $10 million when a lady alleges that she was having intercourse with him at a young age. She sued him for $10 million, but she settled out of court for $250,000. Now that's a major drop from asking for $10 million to $250,000. I have some notes here. Back in 2002, a young lady named Patricia Jones says that she too was having sexual relationships with R. Kelly when she was underage. And not only were they having sex, that he impregnated her and forced her to have an abortion. In 2002, the same year as Patricia Jones filed a suit against R. Kelly, a lady named Monita Woods also sued the singer and said that she too was having sex with the R&B singer at a very young age. She was upset that he had videotaped them having sex without her knowledge, and that tape was sold to bootleggers who then sold it under the title R. Kelly Triple X. She settled out of court for an undisclosed amount of money. Now, if we go back a bit, I forgot one. In 2001, he was sued by his intern, Tracy Sampson. She accused the singer of introducing her to a life of sexual relationships at the age of 17. She too settled out of court for an undisclosed amount of money. Now, we're going to fast forward here. Lifetime recently announced that they were getting ready to air a documentary on R. Kelly, the victims of R. Kelly, and it was entitled Surviving R. Kelly. And we watched that. We watched it like probably over and over again, to get different bits and pieces out of there and to see if we could tell who might have been telling the truth, who might have been lying, and why were they coming forth now. So that came out. R. Kelly threatened the producers if they would go forward with that he was going to sue them. Basically, they said, go ahead and call your lawyers because we're going through with it, and they did. After that, that's when everything in his life began to fall, began to crumble. Cook County State Attorney Kim Fox came before the media in a press conference and was asking for any victims to come forward, that she could not prosecute a case that she did not know about. If you were a victim, I need you to contact my office. Well, evidently it paid off. People started coming forward. A new tape came forth. An attorney who is representing two alleged victims. He took the tape to CNN. CNN watched the tape. CNN said it was authentic. It was the real deal. It was R. Kelly. Because everybody knows who R. Kelly is. He was completely naked in the video. The girl was naked in the video. She was 14 years old because she kept referring to her body parts, especially her vagina, as that of a 14-year-old girl, and R. Kelly would echo the same thing. That tape was then presented to prosecutors. Looked at it, analyzed it. Shortly after that, on February the 22nd, a 10-count indictment was handed down against Robert Sylvester Kelly. After hearing of the indictment, they didn't have to go look for him. He made arrangements to turn himself in that same day, and he did. Later that night, R. Kelly arrived in his black Mercedes bus with agents, attorney, bodyguards. The media had been out there all morning. It was a circus. Turned himself in, wearing a blue jacket, black outfit, with a black hood. After he came out of the vehicle, the police was there waiting, put him in handcuffs, walked him into the building, and he remained there all night. That next day, about 1 p.m., he had a hearing before a judge to see if he could a bond could be set, because if you remember, the prosecution had a no bond arrest. They are by law allowed to do that. The judge can honor that, or if the judge chooses not to, then they don't have to. And in this case, we know the judge said, I'm not going to honor that. I'm going to give you a bail. The bail was $1 million, $250,000 on each charge. That bail, we thought R. Kelly could make at the drop of a dime, but we were wrong. We had heard of some financial troubles, but we didn't know that R. Kelly was in that big of a financial mess to where his net worth is only at $1 million right now, if that. So R. Kelly remained in jail for 3 days until he was released on yesterday. Now, let me just interject something here. And whether you like R. Kelly or not, whether he's guilty or innocent, you have made, to me, a huge impact on society when GoFundMe pages gets to popping up everywhere to raise bail to get you out of jail. Whether you like it or not, somebody somewhere still thinks R. Kelly is wonderful, and they didn't want to see him locked up, so they began to do the GoFundMe pages. Well, a young lady in, I think she's in Chicago too, from the suburbs, right before airtime, got a little briefing on her. She owns a daycare center, I think. She paid his bail. She paid it. She paid the $100,000 needed to release R. Kelly. Now, R. Kelly is still fighting the 10 indictments. He is due back in court, I think, one day next week on another issue. It's involving child support. It has nothing to do with this, but he still stands a chance of being locked up on that issue there. But we'll see what happens next week. Now, R. Kelly walked out of the Cook County jail shortly after 5:25 p.m. Bodyguards up front waiting on him, escorted out by his attorney. They rushed him into his black Mercedes van, which had a Mercedes-Benz followed close behind as he left. R. Kelly's first stop was downtown Chicago at at a McDonald's. Now, this where it gets a little troubling at. I'm sure he wanted some real food. I'm sure he did. But I would think, this what I would have done. I want real food. But right now, I don't want to deal with anybody. Let's go to the drive-thru, or somebody go in and get this and get that. We can eat it in the van or go to the house, wherever, and eat it. I don't want to be out in public right now. But he didn't. And so that's not a crime. He decided that he wanted to go inside. And not only go inside and order, but he wanted to go inside and eat. And he did. Naturally, the fans were there. You know, he signed some autographs. He didn't immediately get out of the van. His entourage got out first and stayed close by the van, as did the Mercedes, which was parked extremely close to it. R.Kelly finally gets out, goes into McDonald's order. Now, when he left, the fans began to yell, R.Kelly, we love you, we love you. We support you, we support you. And he would wave. Men, women, everybody yelling, R.Kelly, my boy. You know, the girl saying, I love you, I love you. Now, right before R.Kelly steps foot back into his black Mercedes van, a young lady yells out the same, I love you. R.Kelly gets in the van and he waves. I don't think he laid eye contact on her. I don't even think he knew where she was standing, if you look at the video. And he just waved. The door immediately was pulled to. Now, that's where the problem comes in at, because part of his release on bail, he asked to surrender his passport, and he did. You are not allowed to have any contact, not only with female friends under the age of 18, no females, period, under the age of 18. I don't know the girl's age that yelled, I love you. She could have been 12, 16, 69. I don't know. I didn't see her. Now, that's what the attorney for for two of the alleged victims are saying, that he could be picked up any minute because he violated the conditions of his bail. I honestly don't think that's going to happen, because R.Kelly cannot control who's in McDonald's, and that's what he wanted to eat. So that wasn't part of the stipulation, that you cannot go to McDonald's or here or there. He pulled up there and he wanted to eat, and he went in there, and everybody knows R. Kelly, and they're going to speak to R. Kelly, and he's going to wave, he's going to sign autographs, and he did that. But that's an issue now. He waved, and he shouldn't have done that. I don't know if that's really contact. I mean, he's a celebrity. He's an R&B singer. They setting up GoFundMe pages. They still love this man. They still think he is the true Pied Piper, the self-proclaimed Pied Piper, might I add. And so, one thing you don't want to do is to lose your fans, especially in the midst of trouble. So, did I see anything wrong with him waving, signing autographs? No. And if he cannot sign autographs for females under 18, that's going to be a big problem because of who he is. And they love R. Kelly. You know, so it should have been like more specific as to not engaged in a closed environment with them. They cannot be on your bus. They cannot be in your car. They cannot be in your house or your hotel room. You cannot be alone with them. Yeah, I mean, you know, it should have been more stipulations on that. Then you just cannot be around any girls under 18. So what happens when you do a concert and there's some girls under 18? We violating for that? I'm lost. It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so that's something that we are also going to be looking in. Now, we told you on yesterday that what we're going to do all this week is we're going to look at then and now, how he got started, and how did we really get here. The more we was digging last night and today, we found some things that we found disturbing. We also found some things that was disturbing disturbing against his alleged victims now and then. I want to bring you the information now, but they won't let me bring it to you right now. Hopefully tomorrow, once everything is documented, verified, or whatever, they'll let me bring it to you. But I found some very, very disturbing things about those who are accusing R. Kelly of certain crimes. Now, remember, R. Kelly beat 21 counts of child pornography back in 2008, I think. Well, there's a 10-count indictment. One of the alleged victims in the new indictment is the same girl from the first challenge, when he beat the 21 counts. Now, here's what the law states. That would be double jeopardy. You can't do that. He has been tried and acquitted on those. You can't bring that back up. And the attorneys, prosecutors, they know this. But it's kind of tricky. Now, if it's the same girl, but there are new allegations, there's a new tape, that's a different story. Then you have to sit and just say, okay, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we let this stay in, or do we have to pull it out? So, so I don't know what's on the tape, if it's the same girl, if it's the same tape or a different tape. Well, right before I went to bed last night, we received an email. Attorney Michael says, I have a new tape. I sat up. I have a new tape of R. Kelly engaged again with an underage girl who is also 14 years old. And we know this again because she is saying, I'm 14 years old. She refers to her body parts as that of a 14-year-old girl. R. Kelly does the same thing in the last videos. He echoes it. Now, two things. I never want people to think that I'm condoning anything that R. Kelly has been accused of. But, number one, I think if you're doing this, I think it's super stupid for you to sit there and be taping this. I mean, that's just super stupid. I mean, it's just like robbing a damn bank and leaving your driver's license in there if they want to talk to you later. Super stupid. My other problem is this with Attorney Michael. These are VH tapes that are coming forward. Hear me now. Not CDs, not DVDs. VHS. Who's still holding on to these damn tapes? And why are they holding on to them? And you have to ask, regardless to R. Kelly's guilt or innocence, why are they coming out now? And how do you keep getting control of them? And why did you take the first tape to CNN instead of taking it straight to the proper authorities? Why are you so angry that the judge granted R. Kelly bail? You came out of the courtroom and you arrested, tried, convicted, and sentenced R. Kelly right outside the damn courtroom because you was upset that the judge gave him a bond. Your time to vent was in the courtroom, and I know you did. But the judge said, okay, all right, I'm going to give you $1 million bail, and that's it. Now, when we said due process, whether you're okay with something or not, especially if you have passed the bar exam, you know that's part of due process. The crime said he can get a bail. That's at the judge's discretion. The judge granted him that. But you came out and you called him everything but the name on his birth certificate. And then you said when he walks out, he's going to go and commit the same crimes again. He hadn't even been convicted yet. You can't say that. You cannot say that. And him, of all people, being an attorney, should know things that you can say and you cannot say, especially in the midst of an ongoing investigation. Somebody says, is Mike the same lawyer? Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, he is, Beverly. Beverly's asking, is this the same lawyer that was involved in the porn case with Stormy Daniels? Yes, that's Freaky him, Freaky Mike. And so my thing is this here. even if the allegations are true. If you're going to do an investigation, you're going to do an investigation 100%. One thing I would want to know, what do you keep getting these tapes from? And where? Who's had them? What have they been doing with them all this time? How many more are there? Because last night you said, I'm presenting a new one that's more damaging than the first one, more disgusting than the first one. And he went on and said, oh, and by the way, there's more to come. Okay, I don't, as my sister Yvette said yesterday, we don't want to be cherry picking here. I need you to bring all the tapes that you have. If it's 2,000, bring them to me now. Because if you do not bring them to me, and you want to bring another one in the midst of the trial, I'm not going to let you do it. I'm not, because something is just not right here. Whether the singer is guilty or not, it's like this attorney has a hidden agenda. And he proved it to me. When the judge granted R.Kelly bail, he came out and if I say he was pissed, if I say he was angry, if I say he was frustrated, all those would be understatements. We have to let things play out in the courtroom, not outside of the courtroom. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. But here's the thing. When you hand down the indictments, that means that you're saying, I believe something happened. There's probable cause to indict him, arrest him, and hold him accountable on these alleged charges. After that, you don't come out and try him in the streets. You don't do that. That's what you're in the courtroom for now. You don't come out and say, he's going to do it again. That's very unprofessional. Very, very unprofessional. I strongly believe that Mike has a hidden agenda. I want to know why are all these tapes coming up now. Doesn't mean I'm condoning what R.Kelly's been accused of. Someone got upset and they had subscribed to my YouTube channel and they said, well, I'm unsubscribing. And here's their reason, because I heard you said that you hope R.Kelly gets a bond. And when he got a bond, I said, I'm glad he has a bond. They were upset. And they said, well, I'm condoning R.Kelly criminal activities. That's not true. Reading something, someone saying Mike Wells says, isn't there a statute of limitations? Yes, there is a statute of limitations. And when the Kim Fox state attorney came on and she addressed those and she told the limits of those, and when those would run out, R. Kelly is still in there. So if they waited 5 more years, they can still prosecute him on those because the statute of limitations on those has not ran out. And I'm going to post up the time on those on the show later. Good afternoon, Teresa Scott. How are you? Thank you for tuning in to today's show. It doesn't mean that I condone what R. Kelly is being accused of because I'm happy he has a bond. I cannot say that I'm going to accept justice on this end and I want justice to do this on this end, but I don't like some of the things on this end as far as justice is concerned. Let's throw that to the side. He don't deserve this. He don't deserve that. Wait a minute now. We're talking about due process of the law. Justice. When you pick up one end of the stick, you have to pick up the other end of the stick too. So if you are unhappy with the judge having the discretion to give bonds in certain cases like this, then you should go and sit with your lawmakers and address that with them. But if the law says he can have a bond and they give him a bond, okay, it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. And I said this yesterday to the gentleman, pertaining to the gentleman that killed my nephew back on October 1st of last year. He has a bond, $500,000. So if the DA calls and says, Scott, Christian has passed the funds to make bail. Okay. It's not a headache to me. It doesn't bother me. I'm not against it. That's part of the law. He has bail. And if someone wants to raise money to get him out and they do it, okay, that's part of the law. You cannot cherry pick what works for you or what you like and what you don't like. If you're going to let the criminal justice system deal with this, the traditional system, then you let them deal with it, and you don't come and have a tantrum because things are not going your way, and you kick and scream like a little 2-year-old boy in the middle of the hall in front of everybody. It doesn't, I mean, you just make me think it's something more there, even if it's not there. And I strongly believe there's hidden motives behind these tapes that are all of a sudden coming up. Now, if R.Kelly is found guilty, whatever the judge say fits the crime concerning the time that R.Kelly must do, I can't argue with it. I might not be okay with it, and I might be okay with it, but either way it go, it's the law. Now, I'm mindful that just because it's legal doesn't always mean it's right. But we have to be ready to accept whatever decision is handed down. That's why you turn the cases over to the court system to let them deal with it. And whatever they see fit, then we have to accept that. And we move on. But, yes, I'm happy that R. Kelly is free. When I watched R. Kelly turn himself in that night, before then, I could care less if he had a bond. It didn't bother me. If you give him a bond, you do. If they don't, nah. But that night when I sat and I watched him, when the van pulled up, and he got out, he had his blue jacket on, and I looked at his facial expression, and they came and put handcuffs on him, which I thought was unnecessary. He was right there at the door. That was unnecessary. But as always, let's bring more humiliation to him by doing this. What R. Kelly didn't know is when he was turning himself in, he didn't know if he would ever see freedom again. Because he knew one thing, that the arrest warrant said no bond arrest. But it was still at the judge's discretion. But with a 10-count indictment, and he had been before the court something similar to this years ago, he knew it was a very good chance that he wouldn't be given a bond. But guilt or innocence, I have to respect him because he turned himself in to authorities. You have to respect that. And when I looked at it, I'm like, I felt for him. I did. I felt for him. Guilt or innocence, I felt for him because I still listen to his music. Again, if he did what they say he did, he must pay the price. I'm a fan of what R. Kelly do. I'm a fan of his work. I'm not a fan of R. Kelly. That's where a lot of you mess up at. And that's where you get disappointed at, because you become a fan of that individual. And if they're ever accused of doing something, whether it's true or not, then they fall from that pedestal that you had them up on. And it was too high. They couldn't stand that. So in essence, they don't let you down. You let yourself down with how you had them on a pedestal. I got to say good afternoon to Miss Lula. I have never seen you watching one of my shows. I'm grateful and I humbly bow to you today for tuning in. Thank you kindly there. So when I saw him, I felt for him. My heart went out. My brother Timmy Loke even called. And he said, man, they got R. Kelly? And I said, yeah. And I could feel the pain in his voice because even though he may have done wrong, this man is a genius. In this industry, you can't take that from him. If you said mute R. Kelly, what the hell would that do? Absolutely nothing. I had something I wanted to read you all, and I don't have it now, but someone, I want to give you that person's name, but someone's on my YouTube channel. And they said something, I think they put it on there last night, and talking about R. Kelly. And they said, well, when you mute R. Kelly, you're going to mute a lot of other celebrities. And I never looked at it like that. I never looked at it like that. And I said, dang. That was a small but profound statement. Because R. Kelly don't play his music. Mary J. Blige, you did somewhere, can't play that. Mike can't play this, can't do this, can't do it. So you mute a lot of people. I'm not in agreement with that. I still listen to his music. I just listened to his music the other night. We'll listen to some later tonight. I'm a fan of what he's done. He's a genius. Beverly Thomas said he had a word look on his face. He did. He had a look on his face like it was a word. I just don't know what's going to happen. because we know as black men, as black people, even if we're innocent, if the state wants us to be guilty, we'll be found guilty. It was true then, and it's true to this day. But we don't want to play this case out in the streets. And these tapes that keep popping up, where are they coming from? Do you know how long it's been since they were outdated? VHS tapes? And are these the same tapes that maybe you've edited or done something? If you are for what's right, if you want to make sure you're doing everything by the books and you don't miss nothing, you have to consider everything. You have to put everything on the table and put your emotions aside, even for the prosecutors. You have to put your emotions aside and put everything on the table. What if this? What if this? You have to question why someone keeps turning in these tapes, why they keep turning them in to this certain attorney. You have to question that. You have to question where have they been all these years. You have to question that. Is this a blackmail that went bad? R.Kelly wouldn't pay. Now I'm going to release. Does that excuse R. Kelly's actions? Not at all. Let's not be super stupid. No, it doesn't. But these are things that you have to factor in. Because something just doesn't make any earthly damn sense. But these tapes keep popping up every other day. Attorney Mike, if you got 20 tapes, bring them all today. Bring them all today. This is foolishness. And then when you come forth, you just talk about R. Kelly like he's a dog. And you cannot do that. The only difference between R. Kelly and some people, we know what R. Kelly has been accused of doing. We don't know what y'all have done. The only difference between those that are in prison and those that have never been, some got caught, some didn't. That's as simple as that. Whatever you want to come back, give out. What you don't want to come back, don't give out. I don't agree with it, but it says we are innocent until proven guilty. I think somebody wrote it down wrong, and you know where I'm going with this. But if we're going to be fair on one end, we must be fair on the other end. R. Kelly has reignited a lot of careers that was over. Charlie Wilson, they became homeless, they got on drugs and stuff. They brought him back to life. Michael Jackson even went to him. No, I'm going to come to you, R. Kelly. You don't come to me. That's how much he respected him. And he went to him. And he came up with the song, You're Not Alone. And I said that to say this. A lot of people today are eating good and living their best life because of R. Kelly. But nobody would come forward and help that man make bail. They would. Had any of them came forward, they would have been stained. But there was ways they could have helped. But had it been me, I wouldn't care what you say about me. Because it's not what you call me, but what I answer to. And if it's not a story, you're going to make a story. So we cannot spend all day and every day answering allegations that people bring against us. When they asked then First Lady Michelle Obama, how does President Barack Obama then deal with things that people say? And she simply said, if my husband addressed any of the things that the people are saying about him, he would never have time to be the president of the United States. Simply put, if it's not a story, they're going to make a story. But I don't want to get caught up in an industry where I am a bought and paid for nigga, which simply means that I can't say what I want to say. I can't visit who I want to visit. I can't help who I want to help. Some of these folks are eating good because of R. Kelly. And if you help bail him out, that doesn't mean that you're agreeing with what he's been accused of. Just means your heart's in the right place. It's as simple as that. Some of y'all got some R. Kellys in your churches. Some of y'all got some R. Kellys in your pool pits that's preaching. It's as simple as that. They went from pimping on the streets to pimping in the pool pit. Speaking of pimping, I'm glad you brought that up. And I'm going to say this till it's over. Some of the parents, quote me on this, some of the parents knew exactly what was going on with their little girls. How? I know they pimped them out. These were poor black girls from the ghetto, from the projects, from the hood. They pimped them out to R. Kelly. And they knew what was going on. One of the reports I read, I want to bring that to you today, of how this one poor black family lived after their daughter met R.Kelly. After their daughter ran into R.Kelly, my, they had never, ever had a brand new vehicle. Not to mention two, and a lovely home. Never had that. And if you added their salaries together 10 times, they still did not make enough to afford those two vehicles and the home they were living in and the things that were in there. Who do you think put that bill? He did. He did. Some parents pimped their children out to R. Kelly. If R. Kelly broke the law, he should be punished. But I believe if they're not doing it, they should look deeper into these parents' allegations. You couldn't find your daughter for 1 or 2 years, and you didn't sound a damn alarm. As my brother Timmy Loeb said, the child wasn't on no milk carton or nothing. You wasn't worried. No, I knew she was going to show up one day. Bullshit. It was impossible. If R. Kelly's guilty, and I got to get ready to get out of here, if R. Kelly's guilty, here's what was impossible for R. Kelly to do if he's guilty. It was impossible for R. Kelly to pull this off decade after decade by himself. Somebody knew. Managers didn't know. Agents didn't know. Bodyguards didn't know. Housekeepers didn't know. Chauffeurs didn't know. Bandmen didn't know. Nobody. Bullshit. Bullshit. Not only did some of them know, they probably participated. You didn't think nothing with the beds he had inside of his damn studio? One bed I can see for himself. But 5, 6, 7, 8 rooms, each one had a bed in it. Each one had a girl in it. That wasn't no red flag. You know he wasn't no damn physician. What did you think he was doing when he went in and saw one girl at the door closed and then came, boom, boom, boom? I mean, what did you thought? He wasn't checking their Bible or something. Well, he may have been, but people knew. People knew. People knew. R. Kelly couldn't have pulled this off by himself. He couldn't have. Parents needs to be investigated. And I'm going to keep saying that until somebody make a news conference and say, we're starting to investigate some of the parents. Because they were paid. They were paid to shut their damn mouths. Just like the Leah family. They still saying, oh, we're fine. He didn't do anything wrong. We're okay with it. Because they're paid till they die. And it's another reason why R. Kelly is broke. Lawsuit after lawsuit. Undisclosed settlements, undisclosed settlements. But we have to question where these tapes have been all this time and why they come up now. And watch Attorney Michael, watch his demeanor when he speaks about R. Kelly. Watch how angry he gets. Watch how he try him and convict him and sentence him in public. And that's not what a lawyer should do. He passed the Bar Association. I guess he passed some I guess, I don't know. He knows what he should do and what he shouldn't do. You're in the court system for a reason. You come out and make a few statements and you go on. You don't condemn and convict. You don't condemn and convict. You don't keep bringing up the 21 counts he got off of. You don't do that. You don't do that. That's how a lot of cases are won, though. It's an old trick. Foolishness. R. Kelly could spend the rest of his life in prison. If convicted on each count, he could get up to 70 years in prison. If he is convicted, then that means the state had the burden of proof on them, and they proved that. Then whatever punishment is handed down, then it should be handed down. And he just have to live with that. You make your bed hard, you lay hard. But if he can make bail, I don't have a problem with it. Did I want him to make bail? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. We can't go through life preaching love on one end and practicing hate on the other. We can't. We cannot. And some of y'all, and I'm going to end with this is, some of you guys that's watching me right now, ugly guys, if it wasn't for R.Kelly, y'all wouldn't have had sex with some of the pretty women y'all did. And you know it. Some of y'all owe R.Kelly. And somebody hit something and said, hey, burn the sky, burn the... Y'all know if it wasn't for R.Kelly, you wouldn't have been able to bump and grind. Tasha, you know that. You know it. You know it. One of my favorite songs by R.Kelly, a lot of them, I have a lot of favorites. One of my favorite songs is You Made Me Love You. And the other one where he said, You Saved Me. And I shared that video, You Saved Me, right before airtime. We are keeping a close watch on this case. We're digging, and don't forget, we put up some things on some of the parents that you would not believe that they want to keep hid. But you know Eddie Mays, boy, he's got that big mouth. He's gonna talk. I always appreciate you all for tuning in to the show. Please go and subscribe to our new YouTube channel. When you go to YouTube, just type in Injustice Investigations News. Subscribe to the channel. Tap the bell to get alerts when we go live or on breaking news story. As always, we thank you for watching, and be as the Lord willing and the creek don't rise, I will see you tomorrow. Until then, I'm Al Scott with Injustice Investigation. Y'all have a good evening.